Lucky Goat 72 is now part of the Bunny Butt Gang.
boing, boing, boing. Ooh, hello. Hoi hoi. Hello, Rosa, Matcha, Leia. These are like games. Hello, hello. And do. It was a tumbleweed bamboo. Hello, Lucky Girl. Thank you so much for the resub. Thank you. And you. And the Louisian hello. And the sauce hello. Dancing on the index. Thank you. Thank you so much for the hype train too. Dum. It's gonna be a quiet art, not art, a quiet game stream. I got too used to saying quiet art stream. Well, I'll do art tomorrow off stream. Alright. I'm excited to play as Kaine. I didn't expect that. Yamero! Back to me with my drifting controller. I can do this even with a drifting controller. Let me move my drawing tablet out of the way. Ooh. There we go. Okay. This thing is made. I didn't know about this at all. As you can see, I'm not a gamer. I know sometimes like I know how like the N64, the old controller, they could like break kinda, like they just stay slanted, they won't bounce back. But I didn't know about like the appearance of the controller is still fine, but the inside just I didn't know about this. Let's start from the one with ending A. Right. Broken on the inside.
僕はカイネさんと接するたびどこか懐かしかった。無意識のうちにお姉さんとダブらせていたのかもしれません。やります。
ちょっと待って。I need to make Cheeto smaller. Maybe I'll move Cheeto over here. Sound of rain filled the village. Steep cliffs that surround the area magnify sound, causing even the slightest drizzle to rattle like a thunderstorm. Thin wisps of smoke streamed from huts as the villagers huddled in their homes and waited out the rain. A single child, however, had braved the downpour and was now wandering slowly toward the wooden hawk-shaped weather vane at the center of town. The wanderer reached the vane, which had existed for as long as any could remember, and stared. The child's face was simultaneously delicate and fierce, like a teacup that has survived a shipwreck. Those traits combined with pale white skin to give the face an almost sexless quality. If the beak turns east, I go home. If it stays west, then The child blinked Rain slowly dripped down the young one's short hair and began its long descent to the ground. Come on, come on. The child felt a slight breeze and watched as the vein slowly creaked to life. Spinning this way and that for a moment, it finally settled with the beak pointing firmly toward the east. East? Really? Before the vein could move again, a jagged rock came spinning and tumbling through the air, striking home against the child's head. The force of the blow dropped the child to the ground as a hail of stone began to fall all around. Oh no, they found me. A heartbreaking smile crept across the child's face as the stone continued their assault. Through the rain, the sound of multiple footsteps grew louder before a voice rang out. Yoo-hoo, Kaine! The voice belonged to Dimble, worst of all the bullies in the area. As Kaine struggled to stand, a final stone came skittering through the mud and bounced against her foot. Blood oozed from a cut above her eye and blurred her vision, but she could make out the shape of that Dimble and his usual gang of idiots. Is it Daimo or Dimble? Daimo, Dimble, Dimo. The boy seemed taken aback for a moment by Kaine's seeming indifference to the blood dripping from her face, but quickly regained his bravado. What's up, freak? You like the rain? You like getting all wet? Or did you finally decide to run away from home? Though she knew it was futile, Kaine turned to leave. Before she could get more than a few steps, the other children scrambled to surround her, cruelty burning in their eyes. Kaine knew those were not the only eyes on her. The tormentors' parents watched from the safety of their homes. She was attuned to this sensation. It was one she had experienced many times before. While some villagers simply turned a blind eye to the action of their children, many encouraged it openly. In a society ruled by superstition and fear, Kaine was something to be hated, and if possible, destroyed. I didn't say you could leave, freak. Dimmle's words chewed at her like a worm through an apple. He can't hurt me, she lied to herself. Be strong, be brave, he can't hurt me. He can't hurt me. He can't hurt. Oh look, the little freak is gonna cry. What's wrong? Are you sad that everyone hates you and wants you dead? Kaine prayed for the rain to flood down and carry her away from a world that seemed to have no place for her. But if there were gods, they chose to ignore her. As Dimble crept ever closer, the clouds began to thin and the rain slowed. Even the weather hates me. I'm useless. A failure. I wish Dimble's rock had taken my head off. Kaine couldn't meet Dimble's leering gaze. She lowered her eyes and stared at the muddy ground below. The bully moved forward until he was inches away. She could smell the scent of old meat on his breath. The boy grabbed Kaine's face with thick fingers and yanked it upward. She tried to turn away, but he forced her gaze back and jammed his thumb against her eyelid to pry it open. Show me. No. Did you just say no? Dimble grinned evilly. You don't say no to me. No one says no to me. Even taking his attention from Kaine, he called to his cohorts. Come on, guys, let's give the freak what she deserves. As soon as Dimble finished, kicks and blows began to rain down upon Kaine. Dimble paused, still grinning, as Kaine curled into a ball and tried to make the pain stop. I don't get you, freak. What you acting like a girl for, huh? Everyone knows what you really are. Kaine ignored the question, choosing instead to stare at the weather vane. It continued to point east, as if supremely confident about the future it had chosen for her. Go home? Yeah, that's a funny joke for someone with dead parents and no home to go to. Freak! Chanted the children. Freak! 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 Kaine closed her eyes and listened to the rain, waiting for the pain to start again. Clutching hands of the village children closed around her. She bent her mind to the sound of the rain, letting it become her world entire. The rain fell, but the pain never came. Only when the laughter of her tormentor turned into terrified cries did she dare open a single blood-caked eye. Kaine was shocked to see Demo sprawled on the ground, holding his head and screaming in pain. She could see blood welling from the spaces between his fat, twisted fingers. Oh my god, he's crying. He's actually crying. Deprived of their leader, the other children glanced back and forth between themselves as if waiting for someone to step forward and take charge. When no savior emerged, they began an uneasy shuffle away from Kaine. But the young girl was the least of their concerns. Instead, their attention was wrapped on the ancient woman standing a few feet away. After struggling for breath for a moment, she finally spoke in a voice thick with rage. Hurts like a bitch, don't it? Now I suggest you scatter before I throw another one. And if any of you little bastards ever touch my Kaine again, I'll do far worse than throw a rock. You can count on it. The old woman crouched down and gently touched the hand Demo was using to cover the wound. Before he could think to protest, she ground her palm into the wound and twisted back and forth. Ow! He screamed, leaping to his feet. Stop it! What are you doing? Quit whining. Ain't no one ever died from a scratch. You hit me with a rock, you stupid bitch. A big one. That thing could have killed me. The old woman shrugged. Death is the best cure for stupid. Demo's face twisted with rage at her words, locking his eyes on Kaine. He took a step backward and spat on the ground. Get out! Leave this village! No one wants you here, either of you! Seeing the old woman grab another stone, Demo and his companion turned tail and ran. As they fled, the old woman grabbed her side and barked out a single laugh. Ha! Look at the fat boy go! Guess he's healthy enough to run from the fight. The woman's smile faded as she turned her attention to Kaine. Kneeling down, she removed her shawl and placed it around the young girl's shoulders, then produced a cloth from the folds of her dress and began blotting at the blood on her forehead. Oh, Kaine, she said. Why didn't you fight back? You're stronger than that lot. The words of her grandmother stung Kaine, and she turned away. Don't be nice to me, she said. I don't deserve it. Nothing matters anymore. Her tears, held in check for so long, finally began to fall on the muddy ground below. Everyone hates me. They think I cause bad things to happen. They think I'm a freak. I wish I was dead. As Kaine's tear turned to sobs, she felt her grandmother's hand on her shoulders. Despite her advanced age and diminutive size, she was a woman of surprising strength, and Kaine found herself unable to turn away. Don't talk like that, girl. It's a river wide and deep that flows between the realms of this world and the next, and it grants no mercy to any that attempt a crossing. You got a duty to fight until your last breath. Understand? The old woman tightened her grip and tried to still the tremor in her voice. You know the pain of losing someone close to you, Kaine. You know because you survived it. As the words hit home, Kaine was struck by the force of her love for the old woman. As a young child, she didn't even know of her grandmother. But when her parents died, the woman quickly accepted her as her own. Grandma, as Kaine called her, was cunning, vulgar, and quick to violence, and their first few years together had not been easy. But with each year that passed, Kaine and her grandmother had grown closer. However, it was only now, sitting in the mud with tears and blood caking her face, that Kaine truly understood the depth of her affection. Here was a woman who had seen hard times, who had seen death, who had fought through all these things that somehow emerged on the other side. If anyone could understand Kaine's pain and loneliness, it was her. Do I make you sick, Grandma? Course not, don't be an ass. Kinda drew her grandmother's moth-eaten shawl around her body and shuddered. But my body, it's not normal. If I was normal, then Mom and Dad wouldn't... Hush! Interrupted Grandma. I'll not hear another word of this nonsense. You're my granddaughter and I love you. And if folks have a problem with that, they can just go to hell. With that, the old woman reached out and placed a wreath of dry flowers in Kaine's hair. The skill it took to bend the flowers without breaking the stem or losing a single petal was remarkable, and the beauty of it made Kaine want to cry all over again. Oh my gosh, these are lunar tears! Grandma, you made this for me? Lunar tears were legendary flowers most people could live their entire lives without ever seeing one, and yet her grandmother had somehow collected a dozen or more. Kaine reached up and touched the wreath as if she couldn't believe it was real. Where did you find these? Just stumbled on them while I was out doing the shopping. The old woman turned away as she spoke, leading Kaine to suspect that the search had been more difficult than she was letting on. The pains she took to construct the ornament, let alone tracking down the flowers used in its construction, made Kaine's heart hurt. She reached out and gently adjusted the wreath, admiring the way it felt between her fingers. Didn't quite turn out right, said her grandmother as she squinted at it. These old hands have trouble with delicate work, but it sure looked good on a pretty girl like you. Kaine blushed and turned away. You think I'm pretty? Of course you are, what a fool thing to say. Thank you, Grandma. Her grandmother smiled. We're gonna be fine, you and me, she said. Long as we got each other, we'll be just fine. Kaine took her grandmother's hand in hers, and the two of them struggled to their feet. As they began the long walk home, Kaine gripped her hand with all her might, as if trying to stop smoke from drifting away on the wind. The rain had stopped. Kaine stood beneath the weather vane, watching it spin in lazy circles, no longer caring about the direction it faced when it stopped. I don't need to escape. I have a home now. Grandma loves me, and that's enough. Even if it's just us against the world. Kaine let her gaze drift up past the vane and into the cloudy sky. The last faint hints of a rainbow were slowly fading. As she turned and headed for home, the light scattered into a million particles and vanished, seemingly taken away on a breeze. In the distance, Kaine heard the steady sound of an axe striking wood. The noise had a purposeful quality to it, as if she was hearing a master woodsman go about his work. The firewood being produced, however, was as far from a work of art as could be. Pieces of every shape and size were being flung about a barren yard with wild abandon. Anyone trying to stack such wood would probably die of frustration before the job was through. Stupid piece of shit axe! Kaine's grandma flailed away with the axe, filling the air with both splinters of wood and words that will make the most hardened sailor blush. Now I know where Kaine learned it all from. She kept getting beeped throughout the game. Maybe I should beep myself as well. Grandma, called Kaine. That you, Kaine? Yelling the old woman, taking her eyes off the wood for a moment. Don't get too close or I might take your goddamn foot off by mistake. She brought the axe down on the piece of wood, sending chips flying every direction. One spun past Kaine close enough for her to hear the whistle, at which point she decided to step back. Once she'd scuttled to a safe distance, she cupped her hands around her mouth and shouted, Grandma! Do you need help? I can get you water or lunch or a new axe or something. The axe poised to strike another wobbly blow, paused in midair. The old woman considered her granddaughter's offer for a moment, then smiled. Tell you what, since I'm doing such a piss poor job of chopping, why don't you come here and take over so I can get the water? Shades have been restless lately, and I don't want you running into one of them bastards. Relinquished the axe, her grandmother picked up a long pole with wooden buckets on either end. Gathering water was by far the more difficult of the two jobs, but kinda knew better than to complain. Once Grandma's mind was set, there was no changing it. Kinda did her best to help with chores, but Grandma took every task that required travel to the village. Though she had a long list of plausible excuses, Kinda knew the real reason. She didn't want her granddaughter to be taunted and harassed by the villagers. Once Kinda moved in, Grandma decided to take up residence a good distance from the area. Out of sight, out of mind seemed to be the best policy when it came to the villagers and her granddaughter, and rare were the days when any but the two of them could be found on the rocky acre of land they call home. Kinda enjoyed the solitude, but harbored a secret resentment that her grandmother was forced to spend her golden years in such a place. After watching her grandmother leave, Kinda turned her attention to the task at hand. She had never chopped wood before in her life, and soon discovered why the old woman hated the chore. Swing after swing of the axe produced only a tiny crack in the wood, and when she finally managed to connect with a solid stroke, the tool embedded itself in the log and refused to budge. Frustrated, Kinda swung the axe around her head and threw it, log and all, across the yard. Damn it! Oh crap. She suddenly understood the joy her grandmother felt in a good curse. Happier now, she picked up the axe, forced it from the wood, and resumed chopping. She had a natural skill with the blade, but the task was challenging, and blisters soon began to form on her small pink hands. This is tough. And my logs are all weird sizes. Spitting on her palm and ignoring the pain, Kinda redoubled her effort. Ah! Oh man. My controller! What did I skip? Her grandmother suddenly collapsed to her feet. Oh no! I accidentally skipped my controller. Dang it! Her grandmother suddenly collapsed to her knees, causing one of the buckets to wobble precariously. Eyes wide, Kinda dropped the axe and ran to her grandmother's side. Grandma! The old woman shook her head and pointed a trembling finger at the bucket. Get the bucket. Can't let it spill. Kinda steadied the bucket with a foot. As she knelt by her grandmother, a small bit of water sloshed over the side and made a new home in the hem of her dress. But Kinda didn't notice. Grandma? Grandma, what's happening? Crazed with panic, she grabbed her grandmother by the shoulder and shook. After a moment, the woman lifted her arm and batted Kinda away. Stop that! Just stop! She cried, breathing heavily. It ain't like I'm dying. Just tired from the trip is all. Kinda desperately wanted to believe her, but one look at the old woman's shaking hands and worn face told her more than words ever could. Her grandmother had lived a long, hard life, and it seemed the bill was finally coming due. The time when her grandmother watched over Kinda was ending. Sooner than either of them had feared, the positions would be reversed. The next morning, Kinda came to the side of her grandmother's bed and took her wrinkled hand. Grandma, you're sick and you need medicine. I'm going to the village. The old woman shook her head and tried to rise, but Kinda gently pushed her down. It's alright, she said. I'll be fine. Her grandmother fixed her with a gaze that could melt steel. After what seemed an eternity, she finally lowered her eyes and sighed. Well, I don't like it, goddammit. But I guess I should quit being so stubborn and let you grow up. The old woman watched as Kinda strapped on her boots and made her way down the road to the village. Hours later, as an unseen sun made its way across a dark and rainy sky, she was still watching. Kinda moved at a brisk pace, checking her pockets every few minutes to make sure the money her grandmother gave her was still there. Every noise caused her to spin on her heels, making sure she wasn't being stalked by a shade or worse, Demo and his gang. But she encountered neither tormentors nor shades, and Kinda finally found herself at the entrance to the village. The few adults she could see glanced sideways at her, They muttered to each other behind raised hands before slinking away into the shadows. Her heart racing, Kaine took a series of rapid shallow breaths and tried to calm herself. I have to prove myself. I have to help Grandma. I have to be strong. She chanted those words to herself over and over as she slowly made her way. Finally, her eyes settled on a rotund? Wait, on a rotund? 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 I don't know how to pronounce that word. Older woman who was angrily waving her arms in the air and telling anyone who would listen exactly what she thought of Kaine's presence. Oisho. Gotta find out right away so I don't. Let me see. Doo-doo. What? Rotund. Hey, lady, said Kaine with a bravado she did not feel. Where's the apothecary? The woman's flabby cheek shook in bewildered anger. How dare this thing speak to me? They seemed to say. But Kaine saw that her eyes held a different emotion. Fear. Yeah, we're both scared, lady. Trust me on this one. Which way? Kaine repeated. The woman pointed at a small building to her right before hitching up her dress and stumbling off in the other direction. Kaine cringed, expecting a stone to come flying from the assembled crowd, but none came. Her mind was filled with a strange sense of pride as she made her way to the apothecary, but the new emotion had little time to take root. For as soon as she opened the door, she noticed a familiar customer at the counter. It was Dimmu. He'd clearly been sent here on some kind of family errand because his gang of followers was nowhere to be found. Oh my god, he sputtered. What are you doing here, freak? The insult was delivered without force, and Kaine happily ignored it. Stretching on tiptoes to see over the counter, she asked the shopkeeper for the medicine. Ha! Barked Dimmu. That old bitch finally keeled over? Go to hell, Dimmu. The boy's eyes grew so wide they seemed ready to fall out his head, but before he could let fly a comeback, or worse, a punch, the apothecary told him to knock it off before he kicked him out of the store. Dimmu slunk out of the shop, cursing Kaine under his breath. Once he was gone, she allowed herself to breathe once more, taking a brief tour of the shop while the owner prepared her medicine. Countless tiny bottles filled the cramped store, each with a label written in some indecipherable language. An ocean of aroma assaulted her nose, creating a scent that was exotic but not altogether unpleasant. Seeing such a variety of supplies gave Kaine a sense of peace. Surely in a world so vast, there would be a place that she could call home. On the far wall behind the counter rested a portrait of a stunning young girl. The picture had once contained bright, vibrant colors, but time had worked its cruel magic and they were beginning to fade. The beauty of the work, however, remained undiminished. You like that picture? Kaine turned to find the apothecary with a small vial of medicine in his hand. His eyes were gentle but sad, and they seemed to stare through her and into nothing as he spoke. That's my daughter. I sketched it when she was just a little girl. She'd been dead for a long time now. Kaine didn't know how to respond. She just stared at the portrait and tried to come up with the right words. Pictures are wonderful things, continued the shopkeeper. They let the ones closest to you live on forever. He shook his head slightly, then looked down at Kaine and smiled. Handing her the medicine, he reached into his sizable green apron and produced a handful of old wax crayons. You should have these. There's no one left that I wish to draw. Kaine took an instinctive step back, causing the shopkeeper's face to darken. Yes, I've heard the rumors about you, he said. It's a small village, and words travel quickly. Between you and me, I'm not sure which of them to believe, but I also don't think they matter much. I know your grandmother, Kali, and I think the way she was driven out of this town is just deplorable. Grandma's name was Kali? Thought Kaine suddenly. She was still mulling this new fact over in her mind as she reached out and gently took the crayons from the apothecary's hands. Your grandmother is an old friend of mine, he said as Kaine scooted away yet again, and I owe her much. I wager she will like it if you drew a picture of her. Yes, I think she will like that very much. Kaine murmured a quiet agreement, but inside her heart was bursting. Never before had a villager treated her with anything but complete contempt. It was a tiny, almost imperceptible step, but it was a step nonetheless. And with enough tiny steps, she might one day discover the rest of the world. When Kaine returned home, she found her grandmother asleep in her bed. Her feet were blackened and raw, even bleeding a bit in places, leading Kaine to think that she had been pacing around the room until exhaustion finally caught up with her. She placed the medicine by her grandmother's pillow and turned to leave, but found the old woman's hand clasped around her arm. Back already, are you? Asked her grandmother with a yawn. Come here, let me have a look at you. Grandma sat up and examined Kaine from head to toe, finally satisfied that nothing terrible had befallen her grandchild. She leaned back and allowed herself to relax. Well, how was it? Those bastards give you any trouble? It was kind of fun, said Kaine with a small smile. No, seriously, it was. Fun, eh? Asked her grandmother in a voice which implied she believed anything but, so anytime you need me to run an errand, just let me know. As she spoke, Kaine removed the crayon from her pocket. After a brief explanation of their source, she informed her grandmother that she was going to sketch her portrait. A portrait of me? Ridiculous! No one wants to stare at a wrinkled old crow. But Grandma, it will make you live forever. Horseshit, said her grandmother, throwing back the sheet from her bed. Living forever would just piss me off. Now put those crayons away and help with dinner. But Kaine would not relent, and in the end, Grandma found herself leaning against the wall of their house as if posing for a master artist. Kaine took up the crayon, eyed her subject carefully, and set to work. Just as her grandmother was about to nod off, Kaine finished the piece. After staring at it for a bit, she released it from her grip and let it slowly drift to the floor. It's terrible. It doesn't look like you at all. I'm sorry, Grandma. I thought these crayons would, make drawing easy or something. The old woman's eyes narrowed at her granddaughter's disappointment. Let me be the judge of that, she said, ignoring the pain in her back and reaching for the paper. The sketch could have been the person's face. It also could have been a boulder, a lump of clay, or an incredibly misshapen loaf of bread, all rendered in a chaotic array of colors. The old woman stared at the picture for a long time, then slowly wheezed out a laugh. Okay, Nick, she said between laughter. You truly are my blood. You're as clumsy as me and I love it. But hush, I won't hear any more bull about how ugly you think it is. It came from the heart, and I'll treasure it always. True to her word, the old woman gave the picture a place of honor above the kitchen table. In the days that followed, Kaine would often catch her staring at the portrait with a strange smile on her face. An action she interpreted as silent mocking laughter. A week later, Kaine could stand it no more and asked her grandmother to take the artwork down. Push, said the old woman. I'll take this down when they roll me in my shroud. She pondered this for a bit, then turned to Kaine and dropped to one knee. Listen to me, girl. Seeing this picture makes me happy in a way I've never felt before. And it makes me want to go on so that someday you can feel the same happiness. It was a moment that burned itself in Kaine's memory. A perfect blend of pride and love and joy that came together to form a lifelong remembrance. She swore to never forget this moment, to never forget the old woman who had made her place in the world possible. Time moves on, people and memories move in and out of a life like ghosts passing through a hall, But this moment will be different, Kaine swore, because I will remember it forever. Forever. Oh no. Kaine listened to the sound of crackling firewood and stared at a black object on her plate. She'd been pushing it around the wooden disc for a good 10 minutes, ignoring the bemused stare of her grandmother. Finally, she summoned her courage and gave the object a brief sniff. A sharp, bitter scent flew up her nostrils and made it home there, causing her face to twist with disgust.
Blue Oceanoli cheered. X100, good morning.
Grandma, I can't believe you want me to eat a bug. The old woman threw some more wood under the cooking pot and snorted. It's no bug, you fool. It's a berry. Why the hell would I be feeding you bugs? Yeah, well, but it sure looked like a bug, said Kaine, and I think it's burnt or something, because it smells terrible. With that, Kaine held her nose and threw the berry in her mouth, chewing as little as possible. Oh yeah, that's terrible, alright. Why, you little brat, laughed the old woman. Look at the sass on you. You've been spending too much time with me, and that's a fact. Hello, 这人生的叮叮. Blue Oceanoli, thank you for cheering. 5 years have passed since the moment when Kaine's grandmother saved her from the bullies. As is often the way with two stubborn people, their relationship had grown in fits and starts, but moved forward all the same. Meals that used to be somber affairs were now filled with laughter and hurled abuse in equal measure. Kaine could not remember a time when she had been happier. As the years went by, Kaine started to shoulder more and more of the daily responsibilities. Her grandmother's leg grew weaker by the day, and she could no longer do many of the chores she used to take for granted. And so this morning found Kaine lacing up her work boots with a breakfast of burnt berry rolling through her belly. Where are you going today? Asked Grandma suddenly. Kaine looked up surprised. The old woman rarely asked for specifics anymore. Well, I was gonna check out the kelma trees and see if they were ripe. I thought we could make some jam or something. Oh, and I'm going to pick up some flagstones, so I need to take the wheelbarrow. Flagstones? What in the hell for? Kaine stared at her grandmother, then held out an arm and swept around their home. Constructed mostly of cloth, rope, and rubble, the old place sagged like a boxer in the final round. Grandma, a dying cat could chew through this house. I'm going to build a stone wall so we have some protection. A dying cat. The old woman laughed, exposing her toothless grin to the world. Goddamn girl, if a bunch of thieves want to ransack this old place, let them come. We got nothing worth stealing anyway. I'm not worried about thieves, I'm worried about shades. People saw one west of the village yesterday. The old woman tilted her head and stared at her granddaughter. Well, shoot, I don't know why you have to do it today. We can worry about it some other... Grandma, no. If I don't go to the kelma trees, we won't eat tonight, you know that. A confused expression passed across the old woman's face, and for a moment she was a small child lost at the carnival. Yes, she said after a bit. Yes, of course you're right, I'm sorry, Kaine. Lately you see my mind is... She didn't finish the thought, instead walking over to her nightstand and gently taking the wreath of lunar tears from the drawer. The flower's petal had aged to a brilliant whiteness, and Kaine thought it was more beautiful now than the day she first received it. You're gonna be a true woman soon, Grandma said as she placed the flowers in the girl's hair. So that means less chatter about shades and building defensive walls and more talk about how beautiful you've become. Annoyed, Kaine reached up and removed the garland, but the look on her grandmother's face stopped her hand. You're a beautiful thing, said the old woman, and there ain't another like you all in all the world. I'm very proud of you. Okay, Grandma, that's enough. Goddamn compliments for one day. Such a mouth on you. Where did that come from? Gee, I wonder. I'll teach you to sass me, girl, yelled Grandma. Suddenly, she lurched forward and grabbed Kaine by the ear, pulling her around the room like a crazy grin, with a crazy grin on her face. Grandma, yelled Kaine. The old woman stared at her and blinked, and slowly held her wrinkled hand out as if it was the first time she had ever seen them. Oh, I don't know what happened there. I'm sorry, girl. Sometimes my mind just... Kaine thought the look on her grandmother's face was the most heartbreaking thing she had ever seen. Listen, she began. Maybe I should stay home after all. No, I won't have you stay here to keep an eye on an old codger like me. You go get your fruit and your wall and whatnot. I'll be fine. And when you come back, I'll have a nice grasshopper dinner waiting for you. Kaine rolled her eyes, then kissed her grandmother on the forehead and made ready to depart, trying desperately to ignore the worry that was gnawing at the walls of her heart. Kaine could feel the old woman's eyes watching her as she moved down the path. Don't turn around. Don't turn around, she told herself, but in the end the temptation was too great. She spun on her heel for one final look and saw a small, bent woman standing in the front of a ramshackle hut with a sad expression on her face. God, she looks so old now. It's like the wind could reach down and just carry her away. Kinda worried about her grandmother all day, causing her work to suffer. With what little fruit she could collect was tossed carelessly into the wheelbarrow, and she only found a couple of stones before losing interest in the project. Finally, as dusk approached, she decided to call it a day. Cursing herself for the lack of focus, Kaine pushed the nearly empty wheelbarrow back down the path. As she crested the final hill, she suddenly froze in place. The wheelbarrow fell from her fingers and collapsed on its side, sending a few pieces of wrinkled brown fruit rolling back down the hill. Her gaze was transfixed by a thick black cloud that hovered just ahead. Tracing its path with a finger, Kaine suddenly felt her stomach knot in on itself. No, oh gods, no! Her grandmother's house was ablaze, the flames licking up as if trying to touch the sky itself. Grandma? Grandma! Kaine ran then, faster than she had ever moved in her life when she tripped on a stone and went sprawling into the rocky ground, but she leaped to her feet and continued running, unmindful of the blood that spilled from her wounded hands and knees. As she got closer and closer, Kaine's mind began to race in time with her footfalls. It's too dark. It's too dark. Not just fire. Can't be fire, too much smoke. Gotta save her, gotta save her. She burst into the front yard and came to a sudden halt. Her worst suspicion confirmed. The smoke from the fire was mingling with the thick inky blackness of an enormous shade. The massive creature supported itself on 3 twisted feet, and the achieved balance through the mean of a large armored tail. Scales, horns, and the claws sprouted from its body in a random chaotic pattern, giving it the appearance of a lizard designed by some insane god. Seeing Kaine, it let out a roar and flicked its tail, sending small whirlwinds spinning around the yard. For a moment, the creature retreated into shimmering inky blackness as if her mind was unable to comprehend that such a thing could actually exist. But then the smell hit her, a blend of rotten meat and excrement, and the horror became real once more. The creature bellowed again, and this time Kaine responded with a scream of her own. Alright, you bastards, she thought as her scream echoed off the high cliffs around them. It's you or me, let's go! The shade eyed Kaine with bemused interest, then it began looking from her to the house and back again, as if urging her to look at this destruction it had so gleefully wrought. With dread building in her heart, Kaine glanced toward the house. Through the smoke and flame, she spotted a small figure struggling to escape the ruins. Grandma! At the sound of her voice, the old woman began waving frantically. She's alive, thought Kaine. Alive! Kaine's legs sprang to life as she raced across the yard toward the flaming wreckage of the house. Before she could advance more than a few steps, the shade opened its mouth and let out a roar powerful enough to uproot trees and send them flying. The blast sent Kaine tumbling through the air before smashing her against the rocky earth. Stars danced in front of her eyes as she tried to remember how her legs worked. Get up! Get up! Get up! Get up! Get up now! As Kaine struggled to her feet, the Shay stumped toward the house and pinned her grandmother to the ground with the tip of a claw. The old woman struggled to move the claw from her stomach, but she might well have been pushing a mountain. She coughed briefly, sending a small spray of blood into the air, then collapsed to the ground, her energy spent. Kaine lurched to her feet, only to fall back to earth with a gasp. Her ankles were on fire. One or both of them were surely broken. Ignoring the pain that screamed through her body, she began dragging herself across the ground, leaving a drunken trail of dust and blood in her wake. Grandma, hold on, just a little longer. Her grandmother's face was turning blue, her eyes rolling back until only the whites were exposed. Kaine pulled herself across the ground with maddening slowness, the distance seeming to increase with every second that passed. The shade glanced between the two women and flicked out in its tongue, its giant mouth turning up at the corners. Short, panting breath belched from somewhere deep inside its core. Master laughing at us. She had no idea how such a mindless creature could experience emotion, but there could be no doubt the Shay was taking joy in their suffering. Yeah, I see your plan. The Shay moved its claws slightly, allowing Grandma to breathe again. It was clearly keeping her alive, only to snuff out her life when Kaine was close enough to touch her. I'm gonna kill this bastard. Summoning all her strength, Kaine rose to her feet. There was a sickening snap from her right ankle as the foot twisted backward, but she forced it from her mind and began to hobble toward the monster. Pulling a small knife from the pouch at her waist, she leaped on foot and then pinned her grandmother and plunged the weapon deep. Give her back, she screamed. Give her back to me. It was like stabbing a rock. After a few swipes, the knife broke at the hilt with a dull snap. The Shay panther laughed her again, then raised its tail and sent it rushing through the air toward a young girl that was latched to its foot. Kaine never had a chance. The tail struck her square in the chest and sent her crashing into the burning wreckage of the home. As she lay on the ground with blood pouring from the multiple wounds, a small, weak voice spoke up. Kaine? Kaine's vision blurred, but she forced herself to focus on the sound. Finally, her eyes cleared enough to her to make out her grandmother's hand reaching out to her through the smoke. Grandma? Kaine, you gotta run. You can't pass this one. Kaine grabbed the hand and held on with all her strength. Grandma, come on, we have to go. The old woman coughed loudly. One of her hands slick with blood slipped from Kaine's grasp and thumped to the ground below. Grandma, no. I said run, goddammit. You have to live. You have to get through. The thought would stay forever unfinished before she could say another word, and the Shay claw foot descended, smashing through the remains of the roof down upon the shattered figure of the old woman. Wah! Yada. Blood oozed from the gaps in the creature's toes as the terrible, putrid smell assaulted Kaine's nose once again. She stared at the foot, dumbfounded, convinced that what she was seeing could not possibly be real. When the creature finally lifted its appendage, all that remained underneath was a twisted, unrecognizable mass of rubble and red. Her grandmother was gone. Yadayo. Kaine blinked, trying to feel the hands which had been in hers just a moment before. For a fleeting instant, she could remember the warmth of that embrace, the trembling of the fingers, but then the sensation drifted away on the breeze and was gone. And memories flashed to Kaine's mind, one after the other, faster and faster until they became a meaningless jangle of noise. Kaine screamed then, a thunderous sound that echoed up the cliffs and seemed to roll away forever. The shade eased forward, black ichor pouring from its mouth and dissolved into smoke on the ground below. The earth shook with every step as he crept toward the prey. Kaine's body slowly rose as if controlled by a mad puppet master. Her arms and legs were bent at impossible angles. Her head lolled dangerously to the side, yet somehow she managed to stand. Staring at the shade, her eyes began to glow with a deep red fire. The creature, so confident just moments before, took a slow, hesitant step backward, trying to discern if this broken human could possibly pose a threat. Kaine seized the moment, laughing like a mad woman. She leaped into the air and plunged the shattered hilt of her knife deep into the leg of the shade. The shade shook Kaine off like a fly, sending her crashing to the earth once again. Her chest rose and fell slowly, as if a great weight were resting on it. Moist sound of pain echoed through her mind. Something warm and thick oozed from her ears. Is that blood? Think it is. Think I'm bleeding to death. No, can't die. Grandma told me to live. Deep inside Kaine's mind, something finally broke. The sound, the pain, the smoke and flame, all of it faded away until what that remained was a single incantation, repeated over and over again. Kill it. Kill it. Kill it. Kill it. Kill it. Kill it now! As the spark that was Kaine slowly began to flicker and die, she felt her desire to kill and her desire to live blend into one. The distance between heartbeats grew longer and longer and longer. First hourly outbreak starting soon. Whatcha? 3-minute break time. If the shades were just the souls of the humans, what the heck is up with those shades that murder people? Like, gently, weakly, softly, The shade, sure that its tormentor was dead, turned and stumped off toward the horizon, stopping along the way to bellow one final roar. Couldn't kill it. Shamed beyond imagining, Kaine tried to turn her head to the side, but only succeeded in coughing up a huge gout of blood. Ugh! Human do murder people. Are you saying those big monsters are like the psychotic types that used to like murdering others? Well, 3-minute break time. I'll be right back. Oh, over here. Oh, I'm back. Thank you. Jamin, hello. It was getting difficult to see, and only after a moment of fierce concentration did she realize that her left eye was gone. Laughing to herself, she turned her remaining eye to the ruins of her home and noticed a ragged stump of arm resting a few feet away. Yeah, that's mine, she thought with a mad giggle. This is gonna make clapping a real beep. A real beep! No more clapping. Ha! Cried a sudden voice from the depth of her mind. Finally gonna die, are ya? Well, you had it coming. Go to hell, Dimmo, she thought at the unseen assailant. Go to hell before I plucked out your eyes and feed them to a dog. The voice of her childhood terror evaporated into smoke, only to be replaced by another, more recent voice. Hold still, said the apothecary, materializing from the ruins like a ghost. I want to draw you the way you can live forever. No, stop. Don't want to live forever. Want to die right here. I see, he said quietly. Well, if that's what you want. The spectral shopkeeper fluttered in and out of existence for a moment, then produced a piece of paper and sketched quickly. After a few seconds, she turned the page to Kaine and smiled. Since you rejected my offer, I decided to draw someone else. It was a picture of her grandmother, real as life. Kaine opened her mouth to thank the man, but stopped as the picture began to blacken in the middle. Before she could say anything, dozens of multi-legged insects began to crawl across the image, tearing at it with sharpened pincers. No, stop! Don't hurt that picture! Kaine reached out with her remaining arm and waved futilely at the air. To her surprise, the insects fell off the picture and to the ground below, where they vanished into tiny black tendrils of smoke. Relieved, Kaine turned her good eye back to the picture, only to open her mouth in a silent scream. The sketch now showed her grandmother as she truly was, a smashed, unrecognizable lump of nothing. The apothecary smiled, then broke into a jolly dance. "See that?" he cried as he danced his jig. "It's perfect. She looked just like you. Ha cha cha cha." "I look like that? Oh God. Oh God, I'm gonna die. I am gonna die." Drowning in despair, Kaine laid her head back in the mud and smoke of her ruined house and waited for the end to come. But just before she let everything go, an unfamiliar voice began whispering in her ear. "Ain't you got a wish, sunshine?" The voice was vulgar and fierce at the same time, as if insanity had somehow found a way to take form. Kaine wanted to scream as the voice crawled under her skin, but her lungs refused to work. "You know, a wish? Like a prayer or something? Why don't you get on your knees and start praying to heaven?" "Please, invisible man in the sky, save me, save me." Kaine finally resorted to shouting at the voice with her mind. "I don't make wishes, they don't come true for me. I'm a curse, a freak. I should be left to die." The other voice boomed in her ears. "Oh God, you're the best." Kaine glanced down and saw a black shiny substance oozing from her leg. She tried to brush it away, but her remaining arm would no longer respond. The substance slowly crept around her feet, and then began moving up toward the rest of her body. Is this death? Is this what it's like? Or is my mind just losing itself? She could feel the slime oozing upward, feel the hot searing pain left in its wake. Whatever else might be happening, she was still alive, and this is real. "Come on," said the voice, "let it go." Kaine tried to ignore the voice and concentrate on the pain, but the newcomer would have none of it. "Don't ignore me, sunshine. You're ready to give up, ready to die, so why not let me have it?" Have what?" "Your body. Come on, give it to me. Give it to me. I want to stand on the ground, feel the rain, taste the wind." The voice paused, as if licking its lips. When it resumed, it was filled with mad, undated joy. "And I want to take your hands and use them to choke the goddamn life out of people. I want to tear out their throats and bathe in the blood just like before." In response, Kaine shifted her head and vomited. The warmth of it crept down her front and mingled with the pain of the encroaching black ooze. "Are you ashamed?" "Yeah, maybe, what of it?" The slime reached her face, crept up past her nose, and slowly oozed into the socket of her missing eye. The moment it touched her brain, Kaine was struck by the most powerful sensation she'd ever felt in her life. It was ecstasy. She wanted to scream with delight, but all she could manage was a small whispered moan. "Feels good, don't it?" asked the voice with a chuckle. "Yeah, what can I say? I know how to please the ladies. Now give me that body, come on. Give me the body and I'll give you more of this feeling. It's a fair trade." A black lump began to protrude from Kaine's side. As she watched, it grew longer and thicker, eventually taking the form of her missing arm. "I can see better," she thought. "My eyes must be growing back too." The slime reached up to envelop the rest of her face, but she managed to brush it away. "Stop," she whispered, marveling at how she had regained her voice. "Stop." The black ooze hesitated, as if considering this request, then quickly shimmered down her body before disappearing into a cloud of smoke. What the hell? Sunshine!" screamed the voice. "We had a deal. I thought you wanted to die." Grandma said, "Can't die yet." A brief image of her grandmother, bloodied and broken, flashed before her eyes. She saw the shade that had killed her and heard its mocking laughter, then closed her eyes and forced the image from her mind. Her whole body was quaking with rage. When she opened her eyes again, they burned bright red. "That thing took my grandmother. I have to kill it before I die." Kaine glanced down and saw a mysterious pattern. The pattern of the shades burned itself into her left arm. Well, I be damned, said the voice cheerfully. Look at that, Sunshine. I think you and me are gonna be good friends now. Kaine stared intently at her arm. The more emotional she felt, the more the letters seemed ready to puncture her skin and begin infecting the rest of her body. The arm clearly had a will of its own now. Stop, gotta stop. Holding her left arm in her right, Kaine took a deep breath and tried to calm herself. Come on, don't fight it, pleaded the voice. Hate's my favorite dish and I'm hungry. Let it go, feel the anger, burn with the fire of revenge, thirst for blood, then go out there and shut up and get the hell out of my body. Your body? Oh, that's rich, Sunshine, real rich. Look, why don't you just up and die so I can have this body all to myself? What do you say? I bet those buddies of yours in the area will love to see you dead. Kaine grabbed a nearby shard of glass and tried to saw off the shade-infected portion of her side. Before she could, her darkened left arm grabbed her right wrist, crushing it. Kaine screamed and dropped the shard at the sound of the bone crunching on bone. Bone crunching on bone filled the air. Stupid idiot girl, you're possessed now, Sunshine, and there ain't no going back. The voice laughed again, a loud, long wail that seemed to go on without end. Possessed? Yeah, possessed. You and me? We got what you might call a timeshare arrangement. Remember how folks used to think you were a freak? Well, wait till they get a load of you now. Kaine looked up, tears in her eyes. The sky seemed smaller somehow, darker. Is this because of that shade? Is this how they see the world? So, listen, purred the voice. I know this whole possession thing seemed a bit sudden, but it ain't all bad. There's plenty in it for you, too. I'm a very powerful creature, Sunshine, and now that power belongs to you. You got enemies? People you want to kill? I can make it happen. That little fat kid who kept picking on you? That big old shade that squashed your granny? We'll wrap them up in their own assholes. No more abuse for you, Sunshine, no more pain. Wait, said Kaine. You're a shade. Why would you help me kill another shade? What, do you think I'm some kind of racist? Some killing snob? I don't give a good goddamn who you murder, honey pants. I just want to drink from the well. Kaine considered this as she struggled to her feet. The power of the shade coursing through her. The smoke from her house was drifting away with the wind, and she enjoyed the way the cool evening breeze fell on her new left arm. After a long pause, the voice spoke up again. So, how about it, you and me? We could have some good times together. Look, I'll even take care of the bloody part if you don't want. Fuck off. Ooh, I forgot. Beep off, asshole. Muttered Kaine. I'll handle the killing. Kaha, screamed the voice. Look at you go. Oh, Sunshine. We're gonna have so much fun. So listen, my name is Tyrant. And if you ever need me, I'll just be hanging out in this piece of meat you call a heart. Now get to it. The more you kill, the more your heart turns rotten and sour, and I like rotten and sour. Kaine found herself nodding at the voice. Yeah, she said. Yeah, I think this can work. I'm gonna find that shade and I'm gonna strangle it with its own guts. And when I'm done, I'm gonna do the same to you. Tyrant, count on it. Ha, laughed Tyrant. I've beat bigger than you, so good luck with that. And hey, one more thing. Right now, you and me are sharing this body. But if you ever run out of hate, if you ever, go soft, then I'm gonna take over everything. So keep on killing, Sunshine, and watch your back. The voice grew fainter and gradually faded away, fading to somewhere deep inside Kaine herself. Kaine waited until she was sure the voice was gone, then waved her new left arm around a few times. It feels perfectly normal, she thought. It feels like mine. Desperately, she began poking and prodding at the new limb, determined to find something wrong with it. She didn't want it to feel normal. That would mean the creature inside her had already won. I'm not a shade. I'm Kaine. Repeating this mantra in her mind, she slowly began digging through the rubble of her house, being careful to ignore a certain red-stained spot in the corner. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity of heartbreaking work, she found what she was looking for. It was the wreath of lunar tears. Though it had been through hell and back, the garland's petals were as bright as ever. Kaine started to place it in her hair, then slowly lowered the wreath and stared at it. I'm sorry, Grandma. I'm so sorry. But I don't deserve to wear this anymore. I'm possessed, corrupted, a freak. And this time, I don't think there's any going back. Holding the flowers to her heart, Kaine fell to the ground and sobbed. As night gradually tightened to dawn, and the people of the area arose to their daily lives, she remained in that position as if tears could somehow wash away the horror that now infected her world. 에미르だよ。
戻ってきてください。
エミルだよ。したきよな。お前たち。
エミール、私を呼んでくれていたのはお前だな。
バイス。
あるんですか。
エミールはエミールだ。私は間違え
カイネさん、
エミル、
ありがと
う。おかえり、カイネ。
ずいぶん立派になったな。どのくらい眠っていたんだ、私は。
5年だよ。
そうか、5年か。
She didn't curse? Why the English version had this kind of curse?
ヨナは
探してるが魔王の足取り自体なかなかつかめぬ。
これ
それは月の涙。
おばあちゃんのに負けないやつをって頑張って作ったんだけど。
そうか、ありがとう。
長く石化されていたカイネの目覚め、エミールの見せた優しさ、再び出会う喜びを俺たちは噛みしめていた。デボルさんたちからその話を聞くまでは。なぜなんだ、どうしてなんだ、デボルさん、ポポルさん。
分かってちょうだい。揉め事が起きて危害が及ぶのはあなたたち自身なのよ。
Sense of disbelief can be expressed without something like that? I think a lot of times the English voiceover or like subtitle, they often give the character different personality, almost like their tone of voice, the way they speak, their choices of vocabulary. A lot of times the Japanese version, the English version, they totally become different people. Leon's like that too in Resident Evil. Like the Japanese and the English, the English more sarcastic.
でも
大丈夫ですよ。僕らなら 外で寝ますから。
待てよ、おかしいだろ。己の身を犠牲にして村を救ったカイネとエミールがなんで村から追い出されなきゃならない。
だって僕らこんなんだし、あなたにそう思ってもらえるだけでね、カイネ。
私は外の方が慣れてる。
慣れてる。
じゃあ外で待ってますね。
ドゥドゥドゥドゥドゥドゥ。
どうした？
俺ちっとも気づかなかった。カ
Fuzzy
イネが
number
なぜ野宿していたかちっとも気づいてやれなかった。くそ。
今日はもう休め。
その夜は眠ることができなかった。デボルさんを初めて憎く思った。ポポルさんを冷たい人だと疑った。だがそんな俺の感情には意味がない。彼女たちは村を第一に考えた結果、ああいうしかなかっただけだ。村人たちを魔物の恐怖から守ろうとして言ったことだ。デボルさんとポポルさんの罪を責めるなんてできない。カイネたちの立場を知ろうともしなかった。俺も同罪なんだから。カイネとエミールに謝ろう。謝って、いや謝ったって、この声は。
カイネさんとまたお話ができて僕嬉しいです。
そうか、私もだ。
カイネさんを助けるために僕頑張ったんですよ。一生懸命磨いてみたり、お湯をかけてみたり。
お湯をかけたのか。
はい。でも全然ダメで。
石化を解いてくれてありがとう、エミール。
ちょっとだけ姿が変わっちゃいましたけど。
辛い思いをさせてしまった。
That looks very uncomfortable.
でもこの姿も悪いことばかりじゃありません。こうしてカイネさんを見ながらお話できるようになりましたし。そうだ、
私の話はつまらないぞ。
カイネさんのこともっと知りたいんです。
分かった。私に魔物がつく前、子供の頃の話だ。私は少し変わった体をしているせいで村では厄介者として扱われていた。でもただ一人、おばあちゃんだけが私を受け入れてくれた。
おばあちゃん。
どんなに辛いことがあっても。
カイネさんにとって本当に大切な人なんですね。
ああ。
Emilio's pose so cute. The way he's sitting.
そうだ、カイネさんの石化も治ったんですから。
What do you mean they can just camp out here? Every time I come here, there's enemies everywhere. What?
魔物つきのことや僕の体を治す方法も見つけましょう。みんなで探せば僕たちならきっとできると思い。
お湯をかけるよりは難しいと思うね。
お湯。
もうそのことは忘れてください。
Pour warm water. Add hot water. It's like, oh, what is this? Kaine cup noodle. I thought I get to play as
眠れたのか。
Kaine.
目が赤いな。あまり思いつ。
ポポルさんたちのところに行く。
あれ？
わかった。
When do I get to play as Kaine? Already? Am I doing this wrong? I loaded my clear game file.
なんだそれは。
これは母さんの日記だよ。
母親の。
ああ。
すまん。悪いことを聞いてしまったな。
いや、いいんだ。これは唯一残った母さんの形見なんだよ。これを読むと頭の隅にある家族の記憶が。
そうか。
だけど
That candle in the ceiling is
奇妙なメッセージが数行書か
awfully
れているんだ。
close to the ceiling. The fire.
奇妙なメッセージ。
ああ。それは
おい、聞こえておらんのか。
Oh, it's the dad. Wait,
何をほうけているのだ。
this is the dad.
すまん。何か夢を見ていたような。
あったまま寝るとは器用なやつだな。行くぞ。あの扉だ。
This one?
ああ、行くか。
Eh? Wait, you just suddenly throw me here. I didn't even get to save all this time. What do you mean? Is there a save spot for me? No? Wait, I can leave? Just about there. What happens if I... Oh wait, it's saved. Auto saved. Just about there. What is that? I was confused. What was happening? Are we just looking at diary?
どうした？
何か。
ああ。
Auto saved? I thought I'd get you to play as Kaine. What am I suddenly playing as the dad? Are they?
ま
ああ。
繰り返。
Let me see. I think that's the dad, because that's the old. I think the old original version of this game, when they did the US release, you play as this. You play as the father looking for Yona, not the big brother. Father looking for his daughter, not a big bro looking for little sister. What is this music? This is the world of recycled vessel. Is this like a mini game? What is happening? What is happening? I don't like this. Wait. Ay, yamero. Stop. The OG US release? Yeah, early 2000s. The title was not the title wasn't called Replicant. It was just Nier Gestalt. It's called Gestalt. And this is the guy on the cover of the game. If I remember correctly, at the time they made the change because, like, probably at the time the US, the audience or like the player, they probably couldn't relate as much to a big brother looking for a little sister, but a father looking for daughter makes more sense to them, I guess. That's it. Medicinal herb times 3. What is this? A mini game? Black Scroll, Lost Destiny, White Book, False Truth. Ole? 一体何これ? Ayo. When do I get to play as Kylie? I wonder if they added this for this remake. Wait, not remake. What remake? This is considered a remake. Hey. Ayo. What is the point of this? Is there no end to this thing? When do I get to play as Kylie? Are we done? Finally! Nani kore? Dragon's corpse brought death to the world. Dragon! It's too dark, it's hard to see. Can they give me a... Can they brighten up this? I don't like the special effects. It's hard to see, yo. Eat it. Oh. Are we done yet? No. Journey to return the soulless vessels. Oh. What is this? I don't like platforms. I died. See what I mean? No! I don't like platforms. Huh? Saiこれ。Can I just go? Maybe. Uh-oh. Ah! dodge! I don't like platforms. Oh, yo. Eh? Oh, you? Oh no! Oh yeah! That's not good. I can fall into the sand. Yeah, bye. What is this? Hui. I really don't like platforms. Yikes. Game over, Cody. Fight him. Hey, can I just go past him? Can I? No? Okay, fine. You. Ayo. Did I get it? Ay. Do I? Kabuki outfit? Uyu? For who? For Nier or for Kaine? Ba. Can I play as Kaine now? This seems like a side mini game to unlock outfits. Can I leave now? What is happening? I don't even know where to change outfits. Can I leave? Has already been completed. No. What's this? It's probably another run. Maybe I can leave from here. Unlock more events! I know, right? I really want to bundle her up. Maybe this is like a side mini game, seems like. I wanna get on with the main story. I don't have time for this. When do I get to play as Kaine? I'm still Nia. My flowers! Time to pick up the seeds. I still couldn't grow the white one. Guess we'll have to try again. The timeline is jumbled up. This is supposedly after we woke Kaine up from the seal, from the gate. But my equipment in this yard, the state of of my yard is my latest file, where I went to fight the Shadow Lord. Why? I thought I'd get to play as Kaine. Wait, stop. Save over this one. Kuyo. What's this? Berries. Are they the berries that was burnt and look like bugs in Kaine's memory?
まずはデボルさんに。
Oh wait, is Deborah not here? Where is she? Popola's in the library. Hold on. Oh, she's here, singing.
こんにちは。
よう、意外だな。もう声をかけてもらえないかと思ってた。
いいえ、あれは村のためだと分かっています。
そうだな。じゃあポポルの元にも行ってくれ。魔王のことで話があるそうだ。
ええ、今から会いに行きます。それと
なんだ。
俺も昨日は取り乱してすみません。
お前が謝る必要はないさ。彼女たちにも謝っておいてくれ。
ちゃんと伝えておく。ポポルさん、昨日はごめんなさい。
どうして？
Are they like
あなたは何も悪くないわ。
Pope and Devil? the meaning of their name.
ポポルさんたちも悪くない。村のみんなのためなのに辛く当たってしまった。
優しいのね。
そういえば何か話があるとか聞いたのだが。
ええ、石の神殿があったでしょ。
我のいたところ。
そう。
でもあそこに渡る橋は通れなくなってるんじゃ。
船で。
船？
ようやく交易よ。魔物からの被害もあっ。石の神殿の裏側の道に船頭さんに言え。これで町の間の。
ありがとうございます。ポポルさんには本当に。じゃあ行ってきます。
気をつけてね。
Where do I get to play as Kaine?
船着き場には門の上から行けるな。
水路か。ようやく完成したのだ。
Am I not gonna meet up
こ
with
れで
Kaine
走り
first?
回らずに済むようになるといいが。
移動が早くなればそれだけ早くヨナに近づけるってことだ。遠慮なく使わせてもらおう。
Wonder there'll be new quests popping up for me. Look around, look around.
もう少し野菜が食べ
ないみたいですね。Never mind. Wapisuke, hello. He's still here. Our boat guy with the red purse.
やあ、久しぶり。僕のこと覚えてるかな？
その赤いカバン。まさか海岸の町の喧嘩夫婦の。
ああ、久しぶりだな。
あれからずっと水路の整備をしていたんだけどね。仕事を認められて。
すごいじゃないか。
ありがとう。まあ忙しくなった分、あ、船に乗って。
Wait, why am I going there? I don't even remember. Why am I going there? Popola told me to go there.
この洞窟の先に。
そしてその先に
行くぞ。
Hmm? I'm not playing as Kaine. I thought it said the second round you play as Kaine for ending B, you know? Did I do something wrong? Wait. Hansel and Gretel! It's not my first time here. Oh well. It's a big place. Big place. Full. Every time I want to go to that place, it takes so long. Is there no other shortcut? Shut up, Tyrion.
話しかける。
殺しがしたくてうずうずしてたんだ。
Is there no shortcut? Huh? There's no shortcut to the shrine. Every time I have to go through so many rooms. Oh, seriously? Oh my gosh. For real?
安いものだ。
Why do I have to do this again? Is it here? Oh yeah, it is there. Ramen toxic. Yeah. Sure. No. Let go. これ危ないでしょ。ダメだ。あれ？めんどくさい。もういいよ。Why do I have to do all this? Turn back? Do I have to?
なんだこいつら。
何か通常の魔物と動きが違うようだが、
体の機能が完璧でない者たちか。
そういえば聞いたことがあるな。俯瞰全体の魔物が集まっている場所がある。
だよ。Oh, Average Darts. マジで。I can't move this. Another Everly Average starting soon. Watch out. Ay,もう飽きたこれ。Too many rooms. Aw, man. A break. Am I there yet? Are we there yet? Why is the door locked? Are it? What do you mean the door is locked? The door won't open until Are we there yet? I will actually be right back. Okay, back. Are we there yet? Oh, finally. Whew. Thank you, thank you. Gretel. You wouldn't get stalled before the change was complete? I think we're the one who destroyed Hansel. Yabai. Gretel's gonna be very mad at us. Gestalt? So went through with the Gestalt project? Does that mean Hansel and Gretel didn't? Were they also human? Or were they just wait, I think I don't remember. It's been too long.
カイネ、エミール、今度から俺も野宿するよ。
They were machines made to protect
お
them.
前らだけ村に入れないなんてやっぱりどう考えてもおかしい。不自然だ。
抗議運動というわけですね。
やめておけ。
けどこのままじゃ俺の気持ちが。
ではその気持ちだけありがたくいただいておきます。
エミール、
この大事な時期
Oh
に
shoot!
慣れない野宿で
I forgot.
体調を崩したら大
I
変です
still
か
have
ら。
to redo everything.
それに僕カイネさんと二人きりでする野宿
Hmm?
割と気に入ってるんです。
そういうことだ。邪魔するな。
She only said "jama suruna." That's English. Very cussing. There's not really a cuss word in Japanese after all. It's just a more vulgar vocabulary. Eh? Eh? Doko? I'm lost! Eh? Here, wait, I came up from here. Didn't I? Oh, no, this is the right one.
雑魚が
よいしょ
多いな。
あいよっ。Coloring book. Like they make little kids defend the front gate. Yup. Okay. Here we go, Gretel. Very angry, Gretel. Ayo!
魔物は光に当たると死ぬぞ。おびき寄せろ。
Oh.
さすがはザー。たやすいものだ。
あの石像がボスだ。皆を操ってるぞ。
Ayo. Bouncy, bouncy.
泣かせるね。笑わせるね。
Yeah. Nope. Ara. Ayo.
やったか。
Come on. Why do we have to fight?
あいつも頑張るね。
What the?
おい、まさかあのでかいのに同情してるんじゃないだろうな。俺たちはもう引き返すことなんてできない。血を求めて殺戮に走るしかない。俺たちには戦いしかないんだ。そうだろう、カイ。
Do you have to stand that far away? The voice guy. What the? Wow, that's a lot of blood. I forgot about this. I forgot about this.
何やってるんだ。
このit took too long.
大丈夫かカイネ。今傷の手当てを。
傷手当て
もはや
That kind of 傷 Are you sure?
ダメです。カイネさん。
Tyrant is taking over.
なんだこれは。
カイネ、お前も終わりだよ。
カイネさん。カイネさん。
叩き落とすしかないようだな。
カイネさん、正気に戻ってください。
やれやれ。
やれやれ。
カイネさん。
カイネ。
私はもう
ずっと一緒にいますよ。僕はまた魔物化したら今みたいに止めます。何度だってカイネさんに戻ってきてもらいま僕。カイネさんがいるから野宿も本当に楽しかったんです。カイネさんが褒めてくれるからこんな姿でも生きていられるんです。本当はとても弱いけどカイネさんといれば強くなれるんです。頼ってばかりの僕だけどカイネさんの仲間なんです。
エミル。エミル。
ありがとう。もう大丈夫だ。
Shiny stuff.
あそこは。
Stop, stop, stop.
これはさあ、よ使えるやつだ。
Ask Popular.
これは
なんとかなりそうか。
これは魔王の城への封印を解く鍵みたい。ちょっとこれを見てもらえる？わかる範囲の言葉を書いてみたの。手に入ったのは石の守護神という部分の 石の神殿にあったことを考えると、あと4つの石片がはまりそうな場所がある。ニエ、機械の断り、記憶する木、中性のケルベロス。このうち機械の断りは多分記憶する木はあとの2つ。ニエ、
なるほど。
ケルベロス。
各地点のでかい魔物を
手当たり次第に殺していく。
魔王の元に行くためだ。それに
けど危ないわ。
さらわれたヨナの方が危険だ。
Mr. Poppy,
ヨナちゃんは
生きてる。とりあえずロボット山と神話の森に。
I don't like the junk. Ugh.
カイネさんと
めんどくさい。ロバ山。
町の人も感謝し、少し時間をちょうだい。
はい。
The Robot Mountain. I dislike that place. So tedious. Too much work. Do I have to pick?
ポポルさんが
あのやかましいで。
I thought I get to play as Skynet. It's a lie. It's almost 10. Doggo. Will there be additional quests to complete? No, I mean, didn't give me any side quest. Hey, I forgot to check the shop. Will there be new weapons I can buy? Ooh, so many enemies. 4, buddy! Hoo-hoo. I wonder why they keep going after that boar, the wild one. Humba wants revenge. Why does the shade keep murdering the other wolf, the other boy?
So
できればあの悪夢はもう見たくないものだ。
I know, right?
ああ、
めんどくさい。So what do I do now? No, come back.
神の木。
その妙な気配は知る。いいえ。なぜ知ら。
近寄ってはいけないことになっ
なぜ近い。
さあ、なぜかはよくわからないです。
妙な。
Blindly following tradition.
Oh. こういう手合いが多いのか。
白も言えた義理じゃないよ。
我はこのような言葉でこけ脅しをするような。
You're a floating talking book.
待て、続きがあるようだ。
すべての記憶を司る。
望んだことを教えてくれる。
No! Why do I have to redo this whole thing? I thought it would be a different run with Kaine. Let me see. Do I remember this part? I just remember it's very Mendokusai. Words across blackness. Kind words, difficult words, amorous words, all sparkling in the dark. Words are few now. Time is shorter. Grabbing the words in desperation, Tree turned to the sky. "This is wrong," whispered the tree in the voice of wind through the leaves. "This is not how it's supposed to be. The plan has failed." I know, right? You're a guest star project with has such a huge flaw in it. Who came up with it? Once long ago, the tree had remembered everything about the world, with its task, its function, its purpose. It shivered with something approaching joy as it collected the memories of mankind. This was no accident. Emotions were as much a part of the tree as root and bark. Memories collected like dew on the thick green leaves of the tree, and once they have formed a web that spanned the entire world, words collapsed into sunlight before passing through the leaves and into the pool of memory. From the pool, the words joined together to form colonies. The colonies united in whirlpools of light, and the light coalesced into stars. Each star was like a child of the tree, and it loved them all. Look at my memory. A child is here, brought low by disease. He is far too young to have suffered so. Then beyond words, skin is shade paler than the bleached sheet upon which he lies. His parents no longer visit him, for it no longer able to watch him suffer. The doctor had long since surrendered his fate to the gods. Oh, I remember this part has a lot of puzzles. Nico-senpai, hello! The boy too has abandoned hope. Strange emotions, weariness, hatred swell within the dark recess of his young heart. He tries to reject the black terror that germinates in his body, but no amount of effort or tear can drive the invader away. He has long ceased to resent his parents and doctors. Once he did, but now his pain is so great that there is little room in his heart to think of others. Only one person brings the boy comfort, a healthy young girl with tan skin and deep blue eyes. I gotta remember all the details. Deep blue eyes. Beacon of brightness. Light in the boy's world. Very presence is a comfort to him. Unable to look upon her face. Whenever they meet, the boy is filled with loathing for his own state. Soon this loathing eats away at the joy he received from the girl's visits. The girl will stop coming, he knows this. His every waking moment is spent in fear of this day. He thinks that if he could talk to her, if he could tell her of his feeling, this might not be so, but this conversation never happens. The girl disappears. The boy dies alone. The tree scoops up this memory and carefully stores it within itself. Etched upon it is a single word: envy. Look at my memory. There's a female warrior. Her greatest enemy is a beast with red eyes. She cannot comprehend. When she strikes it with her sword, it turns into a pillar of salt and dies. When the white smoke clears, a new enemy rises, and another, and another. The warrior knows her struggle is folly, but fighting the unending stream of enemies fills her with a sense of joy and purpose. Somewhere deep in the warrior's struggle mind lies a vague memory of a daughter. Perhaps the child exists only in her head, the dying remnants of a powerful dream she does not know. Her friends and fellow warriors come and go, some flee in terror, some are eaten. She began the fight with 33 companions, but most are gone now. 33. The warrior's body shudders. She does not understand why at first. By the time she hears a fierce low sound, the arena is already enclosed in darkness. Looking up, the warrior sees a beast so large that it blots out the sky. She's laughing. She has been doing so for as long as she can remember. Covered in blood and dirt, the warrior laughs. She laughs and laughs until the town that contains her daughter collapses into a pile of dust. This memory has been stored for a long time. It is etched with a single word, loss. Look at my memory. A red dragon falls from the heavens. That memory has been lost. A shame. It was a favorite of mine. After many centuries of existence, the tree saw that its carefully labeled memories were beginning to dwindle. Once seemingly infinite, the memories now seemed ready to disappear forever. The tree did not feel sadness at this. Grief was an emotion beyond its comprehension. It did, however, have the distinct feeling that something was missing. The mountain of memory it had so carefully assembled had disappeared. The tree stretched its branches as far as it could, but new memories refused to flow. The pool of memories was a black empty pit, a hollow place where life had once flourished. The tree had lost its purpose. There was nothing to be done but sift through the few remaining memories littering the ground under its branches. This is why the tree was pleased when the young man and his companion entered the room. That's us! Boss Malu. This place is gloomy as hell. As all he could see were a few crystals scattered haphazardly on the ground. Picking up one of the crystals and peering into it, Boss Malu suddenly saw a familiar sight. It was the forest of myth, its villagers, prisoners of their own dreams. I apologize, the tree thought. That is all that remains. As Boss Malu stared at the jewel, bewildered, a voice suddenly called out from the depth of his mind. The voice implored him to listen. It was an order. Following it was mandatory. Abruptly, the pair realized that they must listen. They must listen. Small, shadowy presence appeared from beneath the floor. It appeared to be a shade. The shade grasped several jewels in its hand. More jewels tumbled out of its mouth like shards of broken teeth. Sights and sound tinkling from each other before vanishing forever. The creature was abusing the memories, treating the precious object like a collection of cheap playroom toys. This shade appears to be consuming the memories. These things eat memories? The tree extended a branch toward Boss Malu. Without a second thought, he brought his blade down on the shade, tearing its stomach wide. Jewels burst from the shade and poured across the chamber floor. Look, thought the tree. There is the conviction memory I had lost, and satisfaction, and many others as well. Yes, this is good. The tree opened its mouth and attempted to speak, but no sound emerged. A millennium of silence and solitude has caused the tree to forget certain things, but rather than to be upset, it greeted the development with good cheer. Focusing all its power on the riddle of speech, the tree formed a kind of makeshift vocal cord and tried again. I implore, hack. It spat out a glimmering green jewel. Green jewel. One more time, I implore you. There we are. What was the color of the lost envy? You stop! It spoke. This shade has intelligence and emotion. Who cares? We brushed Vi's comment aside as his sword sliced through the shade's right arm. The shade extended its remaining arm to Maru. I must touch him. I must make contact. The moment its finger brushed against Boss Maru, the tree felt a warm sensation beginning to burn. Something hot coursed through its fingers, up its arm and out its entire body. It was emotion, more than the entity had felt in centuries. This tree that's storing memories, it looks like a shade to us? Are we destroying it? Wait, what? The tree cried out in surprise and joy. 1,000 years alone, 1,000 years in quiet contemplation. The tree felt like it was going to break apart. For long centuries, the tree had been alone, its heart sealed with heavy chains, but no more. New powerful emotions began to take hold, causing its heart to lighten. This was more than the simple emotion it had been designed to feel. It was the beginning of a soul. And the young man was the key. This was the promise made long ago. This was how it would be released. The tree's stomach began to throb in pain, a new and unpleasant sensation. But the time was not yet right. How many were lost by the warrior who fought the red-eyed beast? Something round and shiny fell from the open stomach and clattered to the floor. The key! Secure the key! The man's sword slowed. Time began to dilate around them, stretching and slowing. Time is essential. The next word must be heard. The words exploded. It became difficult to discern their meaning. The pool of memories began to crack as infinite blackness. This world is falling apart. How can a world of letters? I implore. Most important thing. Yona, 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 Yona. The light was complete. Memory disappeared. Tree's identity began to dissolve as the letters slowly faded. It was drawn back to the real world, and the tree was satisfied. Yona, Yona. Did we succeed?
これはしかし魔物が思考するというのは初めて知ったな。
どうでもいい
Did I
さ。
do it right?
奴らが何を考えていようと。
Just tap dance and play the bit. He didn't say that. Why the English translation? They always. It's not translation. Why the English version? They always like to make the characters more sarcastic.
こんな面倒はもうごめんだ。
あの木を倒したことも
Cultural difference.
もう文字の世界に埋もれることもあるまい。
Being buried in its world. The trees.
時間が巻き戻りでもせぬ限りはな。
It's the memory tree, though. This one was the easiest one to get, I guess. No fighting needed. I don't wanna go to the junk. But now. やだよ。
魔王の正体について何か
分かった。
I don't like the robot mountain. Defense capsule. What happened to playing as Kainu? Did I read it wrong? I thought that's what it said when I cleared the gun. They're still attacking the other board. Rude. Wonder if I can... Wait, where am I? Oh, I can't use the book. I can't use Vice when I'm on the board. I was hoping I could just do the pew 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 while riding. Da, 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 da. Wonder if I'll get any side quest. I only completed 70%. Still need 30%. Wait, is that the quest or? Or my weapon collection progress. Wait, weapon I need 22%. Quest? Oh, about the same. Still need about 20-30%. Who's gonna give me side quest? Ah, wrong button. Are you gonna give me any side quest?
ポポルさん、魔王。
そうそう、崖の村は
あ
それが崖の村の村長。
にえ。
そうね。
すごい。
しかし
ええ。
どういうこと？
あれだけ兵士、その上魔王の。
ちょっと
気にしすぎさ。待っているだけじゃ。それに。
そう。わかったわ。まずは村長の家を訪ねてみるといい。
Yo, I don't like the area either. Both places are so. The area and the robot mountain. Yikes.
崖の村か。
気がめいることだな。
崖の村. The village on the cliff. Village of the cliff. Doi, 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 doi. I still have the fishing quest. Should I try to finish this one? I'm so bad at fishing. Blue marlin. I don't know what to use to catch blue marlin. Google sensei. Let's see. What kind of bait do I use? From the docks at Seaford? Which lure do I use? What lure do I use? Sardine? I think I have sardine. Oh, but I keep getting sharks. I remember now. I tried it before, but I kept getting sharks. I kept fishing up sharks instead of blue marlin. どうしよう。ちょっとめんどくさいな。I think I'll just go fishing. The area and the robot mountain, they both take way too long.
海岸の町のこれはさておき。
Seafront. Junk heap is a huge maze. Hello. Wait, it looks like the quest that I completed. Stay completed, right? New. you. Yeah. That's good. The docks.
So.
Blue marlin, eh? Oh wait, how many sardines do I have? Where are they? Where are they? Why? I only have 10. That's not enough. Hi, I need lots of sardine. I need lots and lots of sardine. Hey, let me see if there's any new quests from the... Nope. Will this do? Does this count as a dock? Sardine. I forgot how to pull. What? No! What the heck? That's a scam. How do I pull it up? What? What do you mean? That's so rude. Let me try other stuff first. Wait, do I just use a stick? Oh wait! What do you mean my bait's eaten? This might be a bad idea when my controller is drifting. Oh no! Oh no! Yeah, don't you. It's gonna move on its own. This is a dock. Hmm? Ah! What the heck? What do you mean a rusty bucket? The one's been eating my bait. The bucket ate my bait? You're trying to tell me a bucket ate my bait? Huh? Stop. Why are you facing that way? Not even a nibble. I was clearly facing this way. Why does it... Why do you have to turn that way? I don't like this. Ah! What the heck? How am I supposed to get the blue marlin like this? That's messed up. Yamelo. Stop moving. 勝手に動くなよ。Seriously? Another bucket. What the heck? No.難しい。How many rusty buckets are in this water? This is the worst gacha ever. What did it? Why do I keep getting chunks? This is messed up. This is messed up. Ayo. Oh no. Not even a nibble? What the heck? This quest is impossible. I am giving up. Oh, めんどくさい. Someone else go do the fishing. Who said fishing's relaxing activity? No. Not relaxing at all. It's frustrating. The area. Do I have to go to the area again? Eh? I'm not complaining. Wait. Buddy! Hello, boy. Who are you? Woohoo! Dun 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 dun. The area is that way. Hurrah! Flying! Dun, dun, dun.
私たちは望まない。
ん？
不要な戦いを望まない。
およ？
このまま共存することができるのなら。
I thought you guys are the humans. Aren't the humans the shade?
このまま穏やかに暮らし続けられるだろう。
だが、あの男がやってくる。そうだ、あの男がやってくる。
Talking about me?
女も子供も皆殺しになる。
I mean, there's a misunderstanding.
どうすれば、一体どうすればいいのだ。
I'm totally the villain in this. This is kindness home. No walls. That's a bit of a strange location though. Like everyone going in and out the village will pass her by. Nope. Oh, gold ore! Nice. Okay, now I'm the bad guy. Here I come. I'm the bad guy. Lynch. Yeah, I used to it. Yo, lame meow, hello. Who do I talk to? Do I talk to... It is different. I have to talk to the chief first. Oh. Shoot. You have anything I can buy? Pumpkin. Nah. Do you guys sell weapons? No, this is medicine. Weapon. Ah, nothing. Okay. You got nothing. How do I get to the chief's house? This way? No. That one. Up one more. Up one more. Hello.
俺たちポポルさんの村から来ました。もうダメだ。手紙の件についてお話を聞きたいんです。
この村はおしまいだ。こういう陰気な輩であった。
村長、だってあなたが手紙を出してくれたんですよね。
知らない。手紙など知らない。
Ah, Popola made up the letter then.
どういうことだ?
Why would they do that though? Will Popola purposely want want us to come here and get rid of all the shades? That's weird. That doesn't make sense.
他の者に聞いてみた方が早そう。
Someone else made up the letter.
裏の者に聞き込みを。
This is the same thing that I did on Monday. Eat it. But looks like they add more detail to it.
手紙か。
知ってるのか？
ないよな。
どっちなのだ。
ところでそう噂に
しっかり。
そうか。全滅。
Another thing I don't understand. If they're all shades, then why did it call kinda a freak?
分かっておる。
Aren't they all the same?
罠か。
見ろ。我の危惧した通りだ。
This part I don't get.
乗っ取られていたのか。
油断するな。他にもいるはずだぞ。
帰りが遅いから迎えに来たぞ。
すまねえ。祭りになってしまったものでな。
私も参加させてもらおう。
殺人祭りだな。
殺人祭り。
カイネさんの村の人たち魔物に乗っ取られてます。
でも全員じゃない。人間も混じってる。
お姉ちゃん、お姉ちゃん。
Where? Where? That's stupid. I fell again. This part is.
なんだこれは。これでは我らの方が。
I know, right? We're the villain.
あちらで村人が襲われておるぞ。
We are the villain now. Wait. Kaine! Still not awake yet.
エミール、カイネを頼んだ。俺はあっちを片付ける。
わかりました。
ちょっと待って。What is this? Strength capsule.
お前たちさえいなければ全部うまくいってたんだ。
If I take 3, does that make it 3 minutes? Big black orb. Oh, Amber coming up. Watch out. 3-minute break time.
俺たちは魔物じゃない。助けてくれ。
球体の中心から何かを感じるぞ。
Now I remember how to target. Ew. This is not fair.
合体した魔物の力。
これ式の魔法弾幕ごときで臆するでない。ひるんだら負けだぞ。 中心から魔力を感じるぞ。
Ah! No! I shouldn't get too close.
躊躇してはならぬ。奴らはもはや魔物なのだ。
No, man. Magic drop. What is this? I'm trying. I can't reach it though. I'm not playing as Kaine. This is a lie. Hi. Hang in there, Emiru. Kaine is still here? I'm trying. Nope. めんどくさいな。
少し休んだらそちらに向かいます。
わかった。エミール、あまり無理をするな。
Nothing. Cheap. Giant fig. It's a giant glowing fig.
あれだけの攻撃でまだ動けるのか。
合体した奴の生命力は侮れぬということだ。
Wait. Skip. Uncontrollable magic. Hey, this part's new. I hope I didn't skip anything important. Thought it was the same. Our instincts. It made us dream. Ooh. About the lab tree. Abort the experiment. Number 6 is out of control. Emiru's number 6. Or number 7. Grinding skull. massive. This creature, this thing is experiment weapon number 6, also known as Halua. Isn't that Amita's sister? I don't remember. It's been too long since I played Amita's part. 2 sets of footsteps echo in the otherwise silent corridor in the first level of the laboratory. One set belongs to a young boy, his eyes blindfolded and his hands restrained. The other belongs to a severe man in a long white coat. The man drags the boy along by means of a long chain attached to a set of shackles on his wrist. Rubble is scattered here and there across the floor of the corridor, making the journey an exceedingly difficult one for a boy who cannot see. Excuse me? Could you please walk a bit slower, sir? I'm not used to being blindfolded. And rather than stopping, the man only increased his pace, causing the boy to stumble in an attempt to keep up. This last humiliation proves too much, and the boy finds himself unable to arrest his fall. Without the ability to brace himself, he topples to the floor, smashing his head on a pile of debris and causing a trickle of blood to worm its way down his pale, frightened face. Agonized by the pain, the boy inadvertently opened his eyes, causing the falling drops of blood to emit a strange crackling sound before transforming into tiny white rocks. "Close your damn eyes!" roars the man. "Yes, sir," stammers the boy as he slams his lid shut. He hadn't realized the blindfold had slipped off during the fall, but now he keeps his eyes squeezed shut so tightly that sparkles appear against the black of his vision. The boy is Emil. Emil! Yes, he's number 7. He is a magical weapon whose eyes are capable of turning to stone anything that falls under their gaze. "Don't look at me," barks the man. "Never look at me." "I'm sorry, sir, I'm looking at the ground now, so if you just hand me the blind..." Instead of waiting for him to finish, the man extends one foot and presses Emil's face to the floor with a heavy black boot. Ouch. "Sir, stop, you're hurting me. I told you to keep your eyes and your mouth shut, so do it." The man knows this weapon could wipe him out with a single glance, and yet subduing him in this way gives him a sense of relief. After making certain the boy is sufficiently cowed, the man leans down, retrieves the blindfold, and knots it tightly around the boy's quivering head. "Right, on your feet, let's move." Emil staggers to his feet, trying to ignore the red liquid oozing down his face. The blood doesn't matter. The pain doesn't matter. All that matters is finishing the job they had set out for him to do. The second level of the laboratory is in even worse shape than the first. The environs are littered with rubble and rock, making the thought of a decent foothold laughable. When the man's eyes linger on the section of a rubble stained a deep red, he has a sudden image of warm, gooey brownies slathered in a strawberry sauce. His stomach lurched at this thought, but when he'd attempt to avert his eyes, they land on the remains of a human being rendered into what could only be described as paste. The man blinks. Brownie with strawberries. His mind goes strangely blank before attempting to determine exactly how many humans had to be sacrificed to create the scattered piles of flesh around him. After a moment, his thoughts simply cease altogether, as if his mind realizes that trying to put such a thing into form is folly. "You can go the rest of the way on your own," says the man in a voice much weaker than he wishes it to be. "I mean, what does it matter? You're not even human. You're a monster." With this, the man spins around and dashes back down the hall. A helpless Emil simply listens as the footsteps of his erstwhile captor fade into the distance. Emil finds himself alone in a room with the stench of death and blood. For a moment he considers opening his eyes, but the thought of the horror that awaits him quickly has squashed his plans. Instead, he stands still and listens intently, Eventually, a far-off sound reaches his ears. That's the howl I heard before. Emil resumes walking, using the sound of the distant voice to guide him, almost as if it was calling him home. By the time Emil reaches the third level, he is moving on memory as much as sound. His hands and face are covered in fresh wounds from numerous falls, but every time he thinks about giving up, his mind returns to his sister. We studied together. We ate cookies together. We cried together. We laughed together. And sometimes I was the only one who got yelled at. That's why I was never lonely. Our being together allowed me to stay strong. For Emil, his sister was all he had to live for, so holding that feeling close to his chest, he presses on, one slow step after the other. Finally, Emil finds himself drawing close to a certain experimental chamber in the deepest part of the laboratory. The howl is very close now, and as he touches the switch that controls the door, he thinks about his mission. Number 6 is the ultimate weapon. She is his sister, and he must return her to stone. He must turn her to stone. The door slowly opens, revealing the massive interior of the experimentation chamber. After a few steps, Emil removes his blindfold and slowly opens his eyes. His sister lurks before him, but she looks nothing like the girl he once knew. Instead, he sees a savage beast crawling on all fours through the shredded remains of researchers. Boomy, hello! As the thing that had been his sister stops and tilts its head in Emil's direction, he focuses his gaze on it. A series of soft crunching sounds emerge from the creature as his magic does its terrible work. First the fingers, then the hands, arms, legs, head. What little color the beast once possessed fades to a dull ashen gray. And yet somehow it summons what strength remains to pulls itself toward Emil, one slow lumbering effort at a time. Wailing, the massive monstrosity closes in. Is she worried about me? Or is she coming to kill me? Emil feels prepared to accept either outcome. After all, this was his older sister, the person he loved more than anyone else in the world. Hello, The moment Emil speaks, number 6 comes to a sudden halt. Silence descends on the chamber as the siblings stared at each other. I'm sorry, Halua, but everyone says you're too powerful. They say it's too dangerous unless I seal you away. I'm so sorry. As Emil watches her body begin to turn to stone once more, number 6 simply waits and utters perfect silence. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Gomendasai. The moment number 6 petrification is complete, her memory floods into Emil's mind. The two of them huddling together in the cold, all alone in the world with no one to protect them. All she wanted was to save her little brother, and yet it was the little brother who, in a sense, saved her. The moment the petrification is complete, Emil sinks to his knees. A frozen sister and a little brother racked with sin. Alone in this cold cage, the two of them weep in a single silent voice. It was our combined power that destroyed Aerie. Whole existences, entire lives, even their memories. We took it all. We took everything. My sweet, gentle sister turned into a monster, and the same thing will happen to me now that I have her power. If my instincts as a weapon win out and destroy me in the process, if that power ends up hurting someone I love,
けどエミールは俺たちを救ってくれたじゃないか。エミールがいなければ俺たちは死んでたよ。ありがとう。
でも僕
いいんだ。もう振り向くな。
I don't wanna go to the junk heap.
とにかく
そうだな。ポポルさんがロボット山に鍵がありそうだと言ってたの。
あの兄弟に聞けば何か情報を。
No, I don't like that place. Another day. Whee! Hey! How dare you! Sneak attack. Shiny stuff, shiny stuff. Defense drop. Nothing useful. It's almost 11. Time to save and wrap it up.